I want to do my readings and do them well, but I'm constantly distracted. Well, people have always lived with distraction, right? Yes, but our current time is in fact unique. Powerful distractions are sold to us through marketing built right into the devices that we have in our hands at all times during all our different activities. And these distractions are embedded right into the same systems that we're trying to use to achieve our long term goals. Moreover, these distractions have a common form. They're designed so that they feed us easy to get, frequent rewards at regular, short intervals. So it's become objectively, materially, harder and harder to deal with distraction and sustain attention on complex, extended tasks because our brains have become accustomed to constant dopamine surges, literally changing our neurological wiring. And just at this moment, when many students and TAs and professors too report having difficulty concentrating, and at this time, when attention spans have measurably decreased, students are being sold new ways to achieve their academic goals in the form of AI tools that promise to substitute for their own reading and writing. But what happens then to the long term goal of becoming a person capable to solve real world problems and develop original, valuable ideas? These digital and AI tools can be very useful, but they can't think for you. They can only think instead of you. Avoiding reading and writing means avoiding learning, which really means avoiding developing the capacity to challenge your own thinking and to arrive somewhere else other than where you began. Digital culture has targeted reading, adding obstacle to obstacle in the way of our ability to engage sustained attention on a reading. Despite those obstacles, or maybe because of them, developing our capacity to engage sustained attention on a reading is our best chance to counter these severe trends towards increasing inattention and digital dependence. That's because of both ends of that definition of reading well that I slipped in there to engage sustained attention on a reading. For the engage sustained attention part, genuinely attending to something that is engaging with it and doing so over an extended, sustained amount of time. And the on the reading part, that brings our attention to the fact that to pay attention, you have to be paying attention to something. That is, something outside, something that you are inviting in. What about the many assignment instructions that ask you to think independently about a topic? Well, it's a fine instruction, but just don't take that requirement too literally. You actually can't think all by yourself. You have to genuinely receive thoughts, ideas, and information from out there and engage with that information, building it up as the material that expands your inner space in order to have an inner space out of which to generate independent thinking. Similarly, a big chunk of a grade for a writing assignment may correspond to how well you think critically. If you've been thinking critically along with me here, you'll recognize that thinking critically, like thinking independently, is inseparably connected with, if not synonymous with, reading critically, which is pretty closely linked with, if not synonymous with, engaging sustained attention on a reading. But this equation doesn't make it easy. Engaged and sustained attention on a reading, and therefore critical and independent thinking, involves some heavy duty processing. Here's a little of what it looks like in slightly higher fidelity than we get from just the phrase critical reading. To read critically means you are tracking a sequence of ideas as they unfold over and across paragraphs and pages, activating what you already know about associated topics in order to identify patterns within the unfolding text and between the ideas in the text and the stuff you already know, noticing patterns and provisionally organizing ideas into schema, reorganizing pre-existing schema as a response, considering the overall meaning and purpose of bundles of information and ideas, and questioning, wondering, affirming, negating, and all sorts of other activities. The sustained part, by the way, means you continue to do all those things more or less simultaneously over a longish period of time.
In one-on-one writing center appointments, students come in to see me sometimes with really terrifying writer's block. They don't know what to say, or they've written a page or two and they just don't know how to extend those comments beyond that. So I'll often start by asking them a few questions about their reading and sometimes those questions make them breathe up even more. What's happened there is probably that they did their reading like really good students do, but they weren't paying really engaged, sustained attention when they did it.
That kind of thinking is common and probably a natural consequence of the ways we were taught to relate to our reading over the course of our schooling. And it's a consequence of the world of bite-sized, slogan-like bits of text that we live in right now. So it has seemed worth it to describe what some of you have been doing here, with the hope that by becoming a little more conscious of it, you'll be able to get away from what may be an automatic and unconsidered process and move towards something different. Okay, you've been wondering, to learn and think and grow by engaging with content, does it literally have to be a text? Well, you can learn in other ways for sure. For your academic work, for example, you can listen to recorded lectures, you can feed articles into AI summarizing machines and read condensed versions of what's assigned. And you can find YouTube videos and podcasts on the course topics. But though all those types of media will provide content that you can learn from and think about and think critically about, text has unique information delivery features. So in the long run, and in view of all the learning that you want to do, there really is no replacement for text. So what are some of these unique information delivery features? Well, first, text is more densely packed with chunks of information and specialized words than the spoken word usually is. And the grammatical complexity of written text often, though admittedly not always, matches its informational complexity. That is, because text allows for long, twisting sentences, text can express compound, twisting thoughts and carefully nuanced, detailed, and specialized kinds of ideas and information. Also, reading is a self-paced activity, which means reading may allow you to process such complexity better and assimilate it more deeply. So, overall, a person who doesn't read will remain limited